Okay, hello everyone. Now we continue to another lesson. The topic today is communicating across culture. So, topic and the videos today we will cover three things, right? We will watching the videos together, and then we will read the transcript and answer the discussion questions. Yes. Okay, let's start this now.
It's a big world, full of difference and diversity. How you see others is influenced by your own cultural perspective, and how others see you is influenced by their cultural perspective. What happens when you speak? Do people from other cultures understand you in the way you intended? And what happens with different cultures in the workplace? How rigid or flexible is their approach to rules? Is formal or informal behaviour expected? And how do different cultures approach timekeeping? To be a savvy global traveller, you need to be willing to undertake the journey of understanding other cultures. Develop cultural intelligence so you can communicate confidently across cultures.
So that is done the videos. After watching videos, what do you think about the cultures, or what do you learn from these videos? For me, I learned about how people communicate each other if they come from different cultures, which means the way they think with each other is influenced by their own cultures. When you think others is influenced by your own cultures, which means maybe you have something biased about your cultures, and something you intention to tell with other people or to make people understand in your intention. It's hard for them to understand your purpose if they are different culture. Sometimes you communicate have problem, right? Okay, let's move on. Next part, you can comment or you can make your own understandings of these videos. What do you learn? Yeah, let me comment. Let you comment below. Now we move on another part. Another part we will read this transcripts. It's a big world full of differences and diversity. How you see others is influenced by your own cultural perspective, and how others see you is influenced by their cultural perspective. What happens when you speak? Do people from other cultures understand you in the way you intended? And what happens with different cultures in the workplace? How rigid or flexible is the approach to goods? Informal or informal behaviors is better, and how do you different culture approach in timekeeping? To be a savvy global traveler, you need to be willing to undertake the journey of understanding other cultures, develop cultural intelligence so you can communicate confidently across cultures. Yeah, and this is comprehension questions about a culture. You can say number one, what sentence best describes the widows? I think to be a saver, global traveler, you need to understand other culture. Number two, letter B, I think so. What should a person develop cultural intelligence? Why should? Because he or she maybe want to communicate confidently across the cultures. According to the narrators, what influences a person perspective? I think the culture. Right. Okay, now we move on the discussion questions. In your opinion, what makes your culture different from other guest Island? Your answer. Mm, in order to answer the number one questions, I think we need to understand about what is the culture, right? And cultures something related to the way people behave together, or the way people wear their clothes, show the culture they belong to, or the food they eat, or the way they communicate together. It's kind of show us a part of cultures they belong to. People belong to the culture. So I think if my culture is Vietnamese culture, right? Asian cultures, we call this the high context cultures, which means people repass the group. I mean, they consider events or people or girls will affect their thinking, which means that unlike in the Western culture, we call this low context culture. Mm, they are they are responsible for themselves. They live independently, or they have the thinking independently. So um, so sometimes they communicate or they do in different way. Yeah, and for example, about the food they eat, or the way they communicate together. They keep the distance between two people when they talking together. For veterans people, yeah. How now? What is your answer? You can share with me about this. I want to hear your thinking. I want to hear your feedback. Can you give me about number one, right? And now number two. How does your nation's cultures approach goals? And how about timekeeping? I think nation culture approach the goals. Mm, People in my home countries, they approach the goals by other people choose, which mean they feel ashamed if they do something bad for their society. uh, Not only they feel ashamed and do something bad they do, also make their family ashamed too, which means not only one person responsible, maybe whole family or whole relationship know together. They feel bad about that guy do the bad things, and other people will consider not only you and also choose your family, something like that. I think so. I'm not sure, but usually if you do something bad, and family also affected by your action. How about timekeeping? Timekeeping, well, people in my home country influence a a little bit late for appointment, which means when they set up the time for meeting together, sometimes they go too late. Yeah, so that's why you don't expect it's so that's why you think maybe they do not respect your times or respect your appointment, but it is have the rules. The late is not late appointment uh, is less important in my home country. It's still important, but I mean depend on people. They still accept your reason for late, right? Yes. Unlike in Western culture, they will say, no reason, no reason. You waste time. If you late for appointment, you waste time. So that's why they want you punctuation or on time to have an appointment. Yeah. How about your culture? How about your timekeeping? Can you share with me about this? I want to hear. I want to learn more from your culture. Thank you. And number three, final question. Do you think it's important to develop cultural intelligence? Why or why not? Well, according to the audio, it's important to develop cultural intelligence. This is because you can communicate confidently across cultures, which means other people from other different background, different cultures, you can communicate better. You can convey your messages to them better. They can understand you thoroughly, and you can communicate confidently with them. Yeah, and it will make you good for doing business. I think so. Or it's also good for social communication. Easy for you to make friends or contact, keep in touch with them. How? Okay, this is my question, and this is my answer. How about your answer, or how about your feedback about my performance, my answer? Can you give me some feedback? It's okay. Thank you.